This is the Stuff Productions, and today we're looking at the Point Pleasant Mystery, or the Mothman Prophecies. In December of 1966, West Virginia was shaken by a tragic event. The Silver Bridge collapsed, taking 46 people with it to their deaths. But this was only one of many strange things that happened in the small town of Point Pleasant. From 1966 to 1967, strange lights were seen hovering over the Ohio River. Glowing orbs were witnessed floating over the water. Some described them as flying saucers, while others said they looked like gigantic dragonflies. One man even said they resembled giant moths. These mysterious lights would hover over the river for hours and then vanish without a trace. Then, as if this wasn't enough, a large, mysterious creature began appearing near the river. It stood around 7 feet tall, had glowing red eyes and huge wings. It was never aggressive towards humans, but it did seem intelligent. This was the birth of the Mothman mythos. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to look into the mysteries behind the Mothman Prophecies, the strange events that unfolded in Point Pleasant, West Virginia in the mid-1960s. We will look at some of the details surrounding the Silver Bridge collapse and consider whether or not the Mothman actually existed. The strange events in Point Pleasant began in November of 1966 when a married couple named Roger and Linda Scarberry were driving home from a party. They drove out of town and parked along the Ohio River to be by themselves for a bit. As they sat in their car, they saw something large emerge from the trees near the river. The couple described the animal as being about 7 feet tall with wings that stretched 10 feet across. Although scared, they were able to get a good look at the animal before it disappeared into the trees. They later reported what they saw to the police. However, no investigation took place and the case was never pursued. Then, on December 15, 1966, the world would learn about the Point Pleasant creature. The small town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, had a population of just 5,000 residents. It was an ordinary town. That was until December 15, 1966. On this day, hundreds of residents gathered on the banks of the Ohio River to watch a large winged creature glide above the water. Many witnesses claimed that the creature looked like a large moth. That's why the creature became known as the Mothman. It didn't take long for rumors to spread throughout the town. People began whispering about a mysterious beast lurking near the river. Soon, more and more sightings came flooding in. People spotted the Mothman perched on rooftops, power poles, and the hoods of cars. Those who saw it reported its size to range from 5 to 7 feet tall and its weight to be around 300 pounds. Its eyes were described as glowing red, yellow, or green. Although it was never aggressive, its sheer size was enough to terrify most people. As if this wasn't enough, the people of Point Pleasant also reported seeing strange lights hovering over the Ohio River. Witnesses claimed that these lights appeared to be spherical in shape and they floated just above the surface of the water. The lights were described as being about the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, and they emitted a humming noise. No one knows for sure what these lights were, but many believed that they were connected to the Mothman. As the sightings continued, people became increasingly frightened. The Mothman was apparently responsible for a series of strange occurrences. Cars were mysteriously tampered with, power lines were cut, and animals were found mutilated. Some residents believed that the Mothman was a harbinger of death, and their fears were soon realized. On December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge collapsed, killing 46 people. The bridge connected Point Pleasant, West Virginia to Gallipolis, Ohio. At the time of the collapse, there were around 50 vehicles on the bridge. Most of the cars fell straight into the river. A few landed on the banks. The disaster shocked the nation. How could such a strong structure suddenly collapse? Some believe that the Mothman was responsible for the collapse. After all, it had been spotted near the bridge several times before the disaster. John Keel was a journalist who investigated the Point Pleasant sightings. He wrote a book about his findings called The Mothman Prophecies. In it, he theorizes that the Mothman somehow caused the bridge to collapse. According to eyewitness accounts, the Mothman had been seen flying back and forth near the bridge prior to the disaster. Some people even claim to have seen the creature standing on the bridge itself. After the disaster, many people were eager to find answers. They wanted to know how such a strong structure could have suddenly collapsed. They also wanted to know what the Mothman was and why it was in Point Pleasant. An investigation was launched, but no one ever found a definitive answer. The bridge was simply too old and had suffered too much wear and tear. There was no way to tell if the Mothman had played any part in its collapse. As the years went on, the sightings of the Mothman began to fade away. By 1968, the creature was never seen again. To this day, no one knows what the Mothman was. Some believe that it was a harbinger of death. Others think that it was a mutated bird or a government experiment gone wrong. There are even some who believe that the Mothman was a demon. The story of the Mothman has become part of West Virginia folklore. There are countless books, TV shows, and movies about the mysterious creature. But the truth is, no one knows what the Mothman really was. One of the most famous cases of the Mothman was in 1967. A young woman named Linda Scarberry was walking home from her friend's house when she saw a pair of glowing red eyes in the bushes. She turned around and ran as fast as she could. When she looked back, she saw a large creature with wings rise out of the bushes and fly away. Another well-known case was the TNT area sightings. In 1966, workers at the nearby TNT area reported seeing strange lights in the sky. The workers were so frightened that they refused to leave their barracks at night. Eventually, the military was called in to investigate. Perhaps the most disturbing case was the mutilation of the animals. Throughout the sightings, there were a number of animals that were found mutilated. The animals had been torn apart as if by some kind of predator. However, no predator had actually been seen. So what do you think? Was the Mothman a real creature? Or was it just a figment of the townspeople's imaginations? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave us a like. You can also check out some of our other videos. Thank you for watching.